Hi, thank you for joining me today. It's Geraldine from the Paper Puffin Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to make this window sheet tent card. You can see if I turn it to the side how it stands up for display. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. Let's begin by reviewing all of the pieces that you're going to need to build this card. So to start, you're going to need a piece of your base color. I'm using white, which measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. You'll need for the back panel a piece of black cardstock measuring 5 3/8 of an inch by 4 1/8 of an inch, and then a piece of white measuring 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. You'll also need a piece of window sheet, which measures 5.5 inches by 4 1/8 of an inch. For the designer series paper, you're going to need one piece measuring 5 1/4 inches by 4 1/8, and another measuring 5 1/4 by 7/8 of an inch. To embellish the card, I've gone ahead and cut out 2 large honeybees and 2 small honeybees. I've colored their stripes with the light Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to be putting some Wink of Stella on those after. I also have ready these iridescent pearls, and I've cut out this hive using the designer series paper. Now we're ready to do the scoring. So I'm taking the piece of white cardstock that will be the base of the card. I'm placing the 8.5 inch side at the top of the trimmer, and I'm going to score at 1 3/4 inches, at 6 inches, 7 inches, and 8 inches. Now before I go ahead and fold and burnish all of these score lines, I'm going to do the cutting with this curvy die. I've chosen to use this one with just the simple dots and the cut line. I want to line this die up with the edge of my card, making note that I'm looking at the side that has the 1 3/4 inch flap on it. I'm going to take this cut edge of the die, and that's going to be placed near this portion of the paper, and the dots of course are going to be placed down. So it's going to get placed something like this. I want to line it up so that the cut edge of the die is near the edge of my paper and the dots are down, and then I'll run this through my cut and emboss machine. I'll pick up there. Now just so you can see how I set this up, I've got my piece of cardstock here, and I've got my die cut prepared and ready to go. I usually attach it with a couple of little post-it stickies to hold it in place, and when I put those stickies on, I try to put those stickies on the portion of the paper that's going to get cut away and not be used. I'll run this through the machine, and then I'll pick up there. You can see here that I've gone ahead and cut the paper using that curvy die. This little portion will get pushed to the side, and I still haven't folded or burnished any of these score lines because I want to do the stamping along this curve, and I find it easier if the paper is laying flat. The next thing I do is select the sentiment that I want to use along this curve, and for this card I've chosen Thinking of You Makes My Day. When you're using these stamps, you want to make sure that you've manipulated them onto your block so that they fit nicely along the curve. So if I just were to place it like this, then I can see all the words and they're not interfering with the dots. I'll go ahead and stamp this portion and pick up there. You can see here I've gone ahead and stamped the sentiment. Now I'm going to get the back panel ready. I find it easier to attach the back panel before I start manipulating all of the pieces of the card. So to do that, I'm going to take the piece of black that we cut earlier, and a piece of white. I'll attach the two of those and I'll stamp the sentiment that I've chosen on the back here. I chose to use "You Are So Sweet" because it goes with the theme of the honeybees. Now with the back panel attached, I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish all of these score lines. I'll speed this part up for you. I want to just review the scoring and burnishing portion with you. So I've gone ahead and scored and burnished well this top edge, and then for these 3 score lines you'll see that I scored in this direction, then I scored backwards, then again towards the front. You want to make sure that these are all nice and crisp, and that when you have the fold in place it looks like this, so that when the card stands up it's going to stand up like a tent. Now I've gone ahead and I've attached the designer series paper to the inside panels of the card. I've got the larger piece attached to this larger panel. You'll notice there's no designer series paper here, and then a strip of designer series paper here. Now I'm ready to attach the window sheet. Now that the window sheet is attached, I'm ready to start embellishing. I'm going to be attaching the hive that I cut out earlier and those 4 bees. The items that I'll attach to the acetate or window sheet, I'll attach those with these mini glue dots. But the items that I attach directly to the paper, I'm going to go ahead and use dimensionals for that. I also will attach a couple of the iridescent pearls, and I'll pick up there and show you the finished card. I've got all of those embellishments attached, and now I'm going to use some of the Wink of Stella and just color over these yellow stripes to give the bees some sparkle. So here's the finished card. You can see how it stands up like a tent for display. We've got also this sentiment on the back, remember, and a person can write a message here. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Thank you for watching. If you did like the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.